Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Drayton Park Golf Club. What I'm going to film today is a golf ball comparison. So not comparing lots of different golf balls, but just a top of the range golf ball to a bottom end, and what difference does it really make? Is it worthwhile spending 4 times as much on a top quality golf ball as the hard distance cheap ones? Before we get cracking, if you don't already, please do check us out on all our social media platforms. All the info you need is coming along the bottom of the screen right now, so do post some comments and questions, videos you'd like to see filmed, and I can get around to trying to do those. So for this comparison, and this is not robotic, this is just me hitting them, and what I'm going to be doing is hitting a 56-degree wedge and a driver with both golf balls, 5 shots with each golf ball, with each club, and then we will go back through the data and see what the real difference is. So yes, there is human error involved. I'm not going to strike it perfectly in the same place every time, but just could we get a rough idea of the performance difference between a cheaper golf ball? So I've got a Srixon distance golf ball. You can pick up 5 for £1, or you can get in a dozen pack at 10 quid. Compared to a Titleist Pro V1, the 2017 version, so top quality. This is a 2-piece construction, this is a 4-piece construction golf ball. Costs about 4 times as much per dozen. What is the performance difference between the two? That's what we're going to get around to filming. We'll have the HMT data as well as the ball data, the spin rates, to really talk about and go through at the end. So I'm going to be starting off with the harder golf ball and with a wedge. So I'm going to be starting with 56-degree sand wedge, and I'm going to be hitting 5 shots with each. I'm going to be going with a hard distance ball first. I won't make you watch all my shots, so we'll flick in a second and come back to it with all the data on the screen so we can go through those. So I'm just going to hit full swings, full shots with wedges, full shots with drivers. Well, it felt okay, possibly a little different sound when you're outside. You know, a lot of feel is sound, so when we say we don't like the feel of the golf ball or the ball feels too hard, a lot of that is just the sound that we get from it. The rest is vibrations. Click on the frap so you guys can see some of the ball flights here as I'm hitting them. So still hitting this Srixon harder golf ball, and we'll come back to the Pro V in a second. That actually felt the best strike of the bunch. A little bit more on target. The spin rates look really low for a wedge, and that's maybe what we're going to see. Right then guys, so looking through the data, the very top one, I know the writing's a bit small here, says 56-degree with distance golf ball. I hit 5 shots with the 56-degree ping Glide 2.0 wedge, hit exactly the same wedge then with the Pro V1 for 5 shots here, which are the blue ones. So you can see my club head speed stayed about the same, and my ball speed was a bit higher with the Pro V1, considering the club head speed was the same, so a little bit more efficient. The launch angle was definitely lower, but the backspin was dramatically higher. So this is the big difference here that we're looking at between a better golf ball and a cheaper, hard two-piece construction golf ball. Now there are some balls coming on the market that aren't costing the arm and the leg, but are still trying to give a slightly better performance. So I was just trying two ends of the spectrum here for this test. So a hard two-piece construction compared to a four-piece Pro V1 here. And you can actually see the spin rate is, it almost doubles with the better golf ball. So much higher backspin, sort of 1,100 backspin as opposed to 5,000, nearly 5,900. So much lower backspin rate with a hard golf ball. What that meant is more roll. So they both ended about the same distance, but the Pro V1 stopped quicker, whereas the hard distance ball was running on, bouncing on more. The hard ball actually launched a little bit higher, came into the ground a little bit steeper, but with less backspin. And it didn't look like it was particularly down to me. You can see at impact I came through with roughly the same amount of loft. If anything, I had a degree more loft on the golf club at impact when I was hitting the Pro V1 compared to the hard one. So I managed to keep these figures pretty close to each other, but there's a definite difference in terms of the launch angle and the spin rate. When we move on to the driver, very little difference. Launch angle about the same, 12.5 degrees. Spin rate as an average about the same, 2.2, 2.250, about the same figures. I was a little bit quicker club head speed and a little bit quicker ball speed with the Pro V1, but the only reason the ball speed was a little bit quicker here was really because the club head speed was a bit quicker. You can see distances are within 2 yards of each other, within 2 yards finishing as well. So how I would sort of recap on that is off the tee between a cheap golf ball and a better golf ball, no, there isn't a lot of difference. But round the green, so that was just on a full wedge shot. But this going to work into chipping, pitching, bunker play, putting. You will get better control, more spin with a four-piece construction rather than a two-piece construction. The slower swingers won't generate as much speed, won't generate as much spin, won't notice as much difference between the two. But for any golfer really trying to work hard on their game to get the handicap game down, we know that round the green is vital. 65% plus of the shots are played within 100 yards, and that's why we want to be going and looking at the better golf ball round the green, or at least the softer golf ball. So for those slower swingers looking for a cheaper alternative to a Pro V1, I would try out one of the lower compression cheaper golf balls. Is somewhere sort of priced between the two. The Callaway Super Soft, the Titleist DT Soft, Strixon Ultra Soft I think it's called, and they're a lower compression golf ball, and that would work well for a slower swinger looking for a little bit more spin. But there is a huge difference between these two golf balls with a wedge, very little difference between the driver. I hope that video's helped maybe make you think a little bit more about ball choice and how much you need to spend on them. Do give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content of the video. Do subscribe to the channel for all the other content Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and we'll see you soon. Thanks guys.